Good morning everyone, I hope you're doing well today. So I'm actually out again on the Vosges. It's nice to just trundle around on a Sunday morning, the sun's shining, a little bit wet on the road, but I don't mind that, I'm not going to get wet on my top half. I've wrapped up warm though because it's a little bit chilly. And yeah, I'm just enjoying it. I'm out in the Malvern Hills, so I've just come through Malvern. This is Collett's Green, I think. Basically you've got these lamps along here which used to be gas powered. It's the oldest gas powered street, or the last street in the UK to be gas powered, which is actually quite an interesting intro to the video I'm going to talk about today, or the video topic, which is the upcoming ban of fossil fuel powered vehicles, so petrol and diesel, and that includes LPG as well. So gas lamps are out, and so in 2030 are internal combustion engine or petrol and diesel vehicles. So for motorcycles, obviously that includes all cars, brand new sale of all new cars, but for motorcycles the ban is a little bit different in the fact that smaller capacity scooters and the like must be fully electric, or that power output class of vehicle must be fully electric by 2030, in line with four-wheelers. But for the larger capacity bikes, they've been extended out to 2035. I mean, maybe that's because bikes have a relatively low impact in the overall CO2 emissions. I mean, think how people ride bikes on a Sunday morning and they don't do big miles. Most people probably don't commute on their bike. I mean, if you think of the number of people who've got sports bikes, they're just a Sunday toy, really. So, yeah, bikes are 2035, and the ban basically says no new vehicles can be sold in the UK after this date. So for the second-hand market, well, that's still going to be in existence, and we don't know exactly what will happen with the market dynamics of petrol and diesel cars. You know, whether the supply and demand will cause the prices and value of second-hand vehicles to rise. We don't know whether they'll become scarce. The other thing to consider is that all of that expertise and development of those vehicles is already being siphoned off. So if you think BMW already, and Audi and Mercedes are going to be siphoning off engineering talent from internal combustion into battery powered or electric vehicles. So that's already happening, but in the future, when you go to a garage, there'll be an overlap where some of the technicians actually understand and can address problems with your internal combustion engine, and others will be the new breed, essentially, that is EV. So it's going to be a huge change. I mean, I've been riding along and probably 1 in every 100 cars is hybrid, and even less is fully electric. Interestingly, I've just gone past the petrol station to see the price, and fossil fuel is expensive, but so is electricity, and electricity is generated in the UK by fossil fuels, so I can't really get my head around this whole thing. For us, it's going to be 7 years away until the ban hits. Obviously then people are going to be buying second-hand cars. As I mentioned, I don't know what's going to happen to that market. But at the moment, the charging infrastructure for these vehicles isn't here. So if you're in the city, and if you're riding a bike or a car, perhaps where, at least in the case of motorcycles, where you can take the batteries out and charge them on your desk using conventional 240 volt, then that's great. I mean, maybe that'll work for you. If you do a short commute of 10 miles, then electric isn't going to be a big transition. But for the general use of a car to, you know, if I wanted to go down to Devon, for example, from the Midlands, how would I do that with an electric vehicle as it stands now? I don't actually know. So, yeah, I mean, charging infrastructure, I've seen some things built at service stations here in the UK, you know, where you can park your Tesla up and plug it in. That's called, I think, a level 2 charger. It charges a lot more quickly than if you plug it in at home to a 240 volt. That'll charge your vehicle at the moment from sort of 20% to 80%, that middle proportion of the battery. It'll charge it in, I don't know, about an hour. So what are you meant to do for that hour though? So it just doesn't really work at the moment, does it? I think it's one of these things which sounds like a great idea and everyone can get behind it. Nobody can really argue against it in terms of the environmental impact of petrol and diesel vehicles. But implementation of this thing is probably, going by the recent track record of the UK government, going to be a disaster. Let's be honest. I mean, it's just, at the moment, we've got 7 years. We've banned something. We've got no charging infrastructure. And the battery technology isn't there. The price of the vehicles is high. The equivalent electric vehicle to an internal combustion engine for the similar spec. Compare that internal combustion to the EV, and it just doesn't come close. The EV is like £10,000 more expensive. What the hell? In the example of motorcycles, well, if you were to buy a premium electric motorcycle, so we're talking about a Zero or Energetica or Harley Davidson Livewire, for example, they're all 25, 30 grand. Whereas if you want to buy a premium touring bike, well, a BMW GS is 14 grand for the base spec, or a sports bike, a BMW S1000RR or Yamaha R1, they're like 15, 16 grand. So there's a £10,000 differential in motorcycles as well at the moment. So you really have to take on the chin being an early adopter and paying more for less in terms of range, less in terms of performance. They're also heavy. So economically, for the individual's finances, it doesn't work out to own EV at the moment. You have to really believe in the cause, I think, to be considering it for your own personal transport. If we look at also the emissions, I hate zero emissions moniker that people seem to tag on to every single electric vehicle. It's not zero emissions, is it? Because you have to construct the vehicle, put it together, you have to mine rare earth metals like lithium, manganese out of the ground in big open cast mines in China and Kazakhstan, which using diesel powered trucks to rip all this stuff out of Mother Earth, which is supposedly saving. So it should be zero local emissions, and the sooner people start using that term, the better. So what you're essentially doing is you're having a NIMBY attitude, not in my backyard, because somewhere in the world you are destroying the landscape and the environment by ripping all this stuff out of the ground. And then you're packaging it in a neat battery, and then you can trundle around leafy Surrey in a fully electric vehicle. And also, I mean, that old Triumph Stag, I think that was, or correct me if I'm wrong, somebody, but older vehicles, when maintained, are the best way to not damage the environment, because we've already put the energy into manufacture. It's already done. But this Vosges, if I was to continue using this bike for 10 years, which I might do, I might not, it would be more environmentally savvy than to construct a new electric vehicle. Like I wouldn't net offset carbon more by going electric with a brand new vehicle, because of the amount of carbon that's been emitted to manufacture the electric vehicle in the first place. So it really is. It should be reuse, not recycle. People should keep. But then again, we're in a consumerist society, aren't we? So people always want newer and better and bigger. So the other thing to mention about the environmental concerns of electric vehicles is you're actually generating electricity using fossil fuels that then charges your car. So it's kind of madness, really. I mean, again, it should be zero local emissions. That's the term everyone should be using.
Oh, riding with us today?
No, I just stopped to look at the bikes.
Right, okay.
Yeah, a random stop.
Yeah, we're the Vintage Motorcycle Club, even though not many of them are vintage.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, it's open to bikes of 25 years or more, but some people cheat and say, "Oh, my other bike's broken down, so come on."
Oh, this definitely doesn't fit that bill. Yeah.
We don't care. People come out and ride the motorbikes. It's great.
So you're based in Ledbury, or?
No, well, we don't have a club or anything. We don't have any premises. We're Herefordshire and Mid Wales, so we go up to Newtown, down to Abergavenny,
Oh, perfect.
across to Aberystwyth. And
That's
then,
a nice road. I'm just admiring like these old BMWs shaft drive. Like I thought that was a BMW GS thing. They've been doing it for a long time.
That's a beauty.
That's a Boxer as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Airhead.
Yeah.
It's not unusual to see bikes spanning 7 decades. I mean, that's a 1940s bike.
Wow.
My horrible thing there's a 90s bike. Well, that's 5 decades. But it's not unusual to see pre-war bikes out. Not unusual at all. I mean,
because BSA are back. They the company.
I was looking at the new Goldie yesterday. There was a big show at Stafford, and they had
Not convinced about it.
I think it'd be a nice bike. People get a lot of fun out of it, like they did with the Ariels, the Enfields, the Himalayan, and things like that.
Yeah.
But not for me. I never liked the original Gold Star anyway. I'm glad other people ride them, but I would not.
See you later.
Do you live locally?
In Worcester.
Oh, right. There is a Worcester branch of the Vintage Club, but I don't know where they meet. But you can soon find them online.
I'll have a look, yeah.
Have a look.
Yeah.
But these guys meet at the Moon at Mordiford the last Thursday of the month, if you're interested.
Yeah, it's a good idea, yeah.
Best to look online, I think.
Yeah. Well, have a nice day. Yeah, enjoy it.
Where's that made?
China.
It's a Chinese?
Yeah. Yeah, I only stopped to have a look at the bikes, really. Well, that was fun. Alright guys, well I'm going to end the video there. I mean, what a lovely way to end. Just to speak to some people about their passion for old motorcycles and maintaining and reusing and repairing. And that almost was meant to be, wasn't it? So I think that says enough on the issue, really. Repairing and using and maintaining is definitely the way forward, rather than throwing everything out and starting again with electric. Obviously, it's okay if electric is developed alongside, and that technology competes fairly with the internal combustion engine, and is able to outcompete it, which it may well do. I mean, the internal combustion engine might have had its day. We might have reached the pinnacle. The Yamaha R1 might be the best 4-cylinder motorcycle engine that's ever been produced. In my own case, I owned a BMW E60 M5, and that had a V10 engine in it. BMW will never ever again put a V10 in a production car. That thing drank fuel. It was, if you drove it enthusiastically, 7 miles per gallon was possible. That'll never happen again. It makes me a little bit sad that that's kind of all over. But yeah. It's seemingly what's going to happen, so let's see what happens with it all. Barring another government U-turn, which is not totally to be ruled out, we might have 0 petrol and diesel vehicles on sale in 2030. Right guys, well I'm going to enjoy my ride. I hope you enjoyed today's little vlog, and I will catch you in the next one.